where Charlie Cray shot Jack the Hat in the Blind Bagger in East London, and the bullet hole is in the wall, and the pub's still open today. It's in East London. Yeah, Charlie Cray, the Richards, gangsters. That was back in the 60s. If you're looking at pubs, go to this Blind Bagger.
So down to availability of funds since the economic fallout. Smoking is a big factor, smoking in pubs. Percentages are incredibly distorted because when they say about how many people smoke as a percentage of the total population rather than the population of people who actually spend time in pubs, you can see a lot more when you spend time in other countries on the continent. Like in Austria, you can still smoke in bars, just not in the restaurants. You have to have the most desirable area of the premises, non-smoking. And so that's empty and everyone's inside in the smoking area. In Ireland, they say so many people quit smoking. So many people started smoking because that's where you actually go to meet a girl. And women started smoking because that's where you go to meet a guy, so you can actually speak. And bum a cigarette, and that's how you start a conversation. So many people started caring more about the coats that they wear rather than the shirts, because the coats would be seen much more because they'd be standing in the smoking area. Another reason that it got hit heavily is the changes in licensing laws for supermarkets and small shops to sell alcohol. So because people couldn't smoke in the bar and it was cheap, they could buy it in so many off licenses. And the breweries changed the packaging of beers in cans and mid bottles. They made a different size, but it looks the same as what you get in a pub, but it's so much cheaper, and they do so many more deals for the supermarkets that so many people just decide to start drinking at home. And they can have a cigarette. They don't have to pay a babysitter. Their friends can come around and take turns each week, move around houses. That's actually two factors in one, because of the smoking and the price of drink.
Because pub is part of the culture. You work, so you finish work, you don't want to go home. There is only one place in the middle of work and home, and that's pub. You're not going to go to a coffee shop and have a drink and chat. You're going to come to a pub because the pub is where it's at. And it's usually a pub like this, a proper pub. You go to a bar to drink, you go to a pub to chat.
Eight pubs have closed in my town of 8,000. 8 have closed since I was, so It had closed in about 7 years.
I've got a little bit of pub history, but it's more personal pub history. If you go to a place called in Holborn, there's a pub around the corner, very close.
Where you lost your virginity?
No, that's just around the about a week ago. There's a pub called Pendrell's Oak. My name is Stephen Pendrell, and the history of that pub was Charles I was being pursued by Oliver Cromwell and his gang to be lynched, and my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather helped him up an oak tree and prevented him from getting caught. That has now sadly become a Wetherspoons pub, which is one of the worst pubs you can find, but it is my namesake of a pub, so I'm fairly fond of that place, and it gives me an excuse to drink during the day.
A character that is the pub's own and isn't a generic blend. There's the hilarious thing. There's, if you watch what's the film with Simon Pegg, World's End. One of the pubs, I can't remember what its name, but it's basically exactly the same as the pub before.
Yeah.
And it's a brilliant example of Wetherspoons or those kind of chain pubs where whatever the building they've been put in, whatever shape the building is, it's like going into Tesco's. You know that the produce aisle is going to be there, and the cat food aisle is going to be there, and you know they're going to sell Fosters and they're going to sell. But you come here, you don't know what beer's on. And you come in and you look for what beer. Oh, I love that one. That's new.
Yeah, it was like the hub of social activity in British history. I guess less so now. With the big like Wetherspoon, the big chains of pubs, maybe the culture's slightly leaving from your local pub where everyone went and everyone sang the songs and drank the beer and was a hero in their own little community. And I guess now it's where's the cheapest pint, which is a bit of a shame.
You don't go and say, "Oh, I'll meet you at this outside the subway station, and we'll go to the pub together." That one person can walk into the pub, have somebody to talk to, and then somebody else just walks in. They didn't have to phone up and organise to meet in the pub. You just go, and you don't know who you're going to meet, but you know you're going to meet somebody, and that there'll definitely be somebody to talk to, who understands you, who you're friendly with, who gets you. And it's like walking into that pub is the exact same as walking into your living room at home.
I suppose the only pub culture is not really, it's pubs in general. There's an English phrase which is called one for the road, which is a pub, I don't know, you may have heard of it, or something like that. It actually comes from an area in Strand where people used to, when they were being hung, they would take them in the back of the car, and on the way to be hung, they would stop at a drinking establishment when the person had their last pint before they got hung, and it was one for the road, because after that they went back on the road and they were hung after that.
Yeah.
This is a nice little spot.
And you consider yourself a big drinker, heavy drinker, medium drinker?
Depends how hard the day's been.
This comes from the man who was hungover this morning.
Yes, I was very hungover.
He's had.
It's also medicinal. It helps you recover as long as you don't drink too much again.
He doesn't consider himself a big drinker. But when was your last pint before this one?
Must have been a few weeks.
It was lunchtime. It was a lunchtime pint.
Yeah.
Hardly counts.
And he grassed one of the Craigs, Charlie Craig. He grassed them up. Ronnie and Reggie. He grassed Ronnie Craig up. Reggie went into the pub and shot him in the head. And the pub was called the Blind Beggar, East London. Go there.